"Mom, when is Daddy coming back?" 3-year-old Anna tilted her rosy little face upward, blinking her almond-shaped eyes that were the spitting image of someone's. I crouched down, gently stroking my daughter's cheek. "Daddy is defending our country. He'll be back soon." No sooner had she finished speaking than her phone rang. "Hello, is this Erica?" Karen's urgent voice came through the line. "Did you know your husband Howard's unit is being deployed to the South China Sea tomorrow?" I froze. When we eloped 3 years ago, Howard said he was going on a secret mission and might not be able to come home for several years. I thought it would be a year or 2 at most, never imagined I'd end up waiting 3 whole years. "Did you get the wrong information? Isn't my husband stationed at the northwest border?" "Erica, you didn't know? Howard was transferred from the Northwest to the East Sea Fleet long ago, and now he's heading to the South China Sea. He'll be boarding the ship tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock at the Hawaii Harbor Pier." My hands began to tremble. For 3 years, I'd sent Howard a letter every month to a military base in the Northwest. He never replied, and I assumed it was due to strict military regulations. It turned out he was never there at all. "Karen, does he know we have a daughter?" Silence hung on the line for a few seconds. "Erica, you never told him?" My world collapsed in an instant. 3 years ago, Howard and I had only met once. It was on the day of our arranged meeting. He wore a military uniform, with sharp eyebrows and starry eyes, so handsome it was impossible to look away. "I'm going on a mission and might not return for years. If you're willing to wait for me, we'll get married." His directness stunned me, but looking into his earnest eyes, I found myself nodding in agreement. That afternoon we got married, and that night he left. A month later, I discovered I was pregnant. I excitedly wrote him a letter to share the news, but it went unanswered. I assumed he had received it but couldn't reply conveniently. For 3 years, I carried the child alone, gave birth alone, and raised her alone. In the dead of night, I often wonder, if Howard knew he had a daughter, would he come back to see her? Only now do I realize he never knew we existed. "Mommy, why are you crying?" Anna reached out her little hand to wipe my tears. I took a deep breath and picked her up. "Anna, would you like Mommy to take you to see Daddy?" "Really?" Anna's eyes lit up. "I'll finally get to see Daddy." Watching my daughter's excitement, I felt a mix of emotions. 3 years had passed, it was time for Howard to know he had a daughter. That very night, I booked the earliest flight to Hawaii. The next morning, I arrived at the Hawaii port terminal with Anna. From afar, I spotted that familiar figure on the pier. After 3 years apart, Howard stood even straighter, his shoulders now bearing the insignia of a major. He was conversing with several officers, his profile as perfectly chiseled as ever. My heart was pounding as I clutched Anna's hand tightly and moved forward. "Daddy! Daddy!" Anna suddenly pulled away from my grasp and ran toward Howard. Howard heard the cry and turned around. The moment he saw Anna, he froze as if struck by lightning, his pupils rapidly constricting. Anna ran up to him, tilting her little face up sweetly as she called out, "Daddy, it's Anna. Mommy said you're defending our country." Howard's gaze swept past Anna and landed on me. In that moment, I saw shock and confusion in his eyes, along with a hint of an emotion I couldn't quite decipher. "Howard." I stepped forward, my voice trembling slightly. "This is our daughter, Anna." The officers around us froze, their whispers rising and falling. Howard crouched down, studying Anna closely. His daughter had perfectly inherited his almond-shaped eyes and straight nose, she was practically a miniature version of him. She really is my daughter?" Howard's voice was slightly hoarse. I brought the DNA test results. I pulled the documents from my bag. "She's 3 years and 2 months old now, conceived a month after you left." Howard took the papers, his hands trembling slightly. Just then, a woman's voice came from behind me. "Howard, what are you looking at?" I turned to see a woman in a white dress gliding toward me. Her features were exquisitely refined, her bearing exceptionally graceful, and on her finger sparkled a dazzling diamond ring. What shocked me even more was the slight bulge in her stomach. She was clearly pregnant. "Howard, didn't you say you weren't married? What's the deal with this woman and the baby?" The woman's voice carried doubt. I felt my blood freeze instantly. Howard slowly rose to his feet, his gaze shifting between me and the woman, his expression turning grim. "Della, let me explain." "Della?" I remember that name. 3 years ago, on the day we got married, Howard's phone rang. The caller ID showed Della. He hung up after just one glance, and I thought it was a work call. Now it seems I couldn't have been more wrong. "Explain what?" "Explain that you have a wife and kids on the side?" Della's voice rose sharply as tears welled up instantly. "Howard, you lied to me for 3 years. You said you were single, that you'd marry me once the mission was over. My world has come crashing down. It turns out I was just one of Howard's secrets. And Della, she's his true love." Anna seemed to sense the awkward atmosphere and clung tightly to my legs. "Mommy, why isn't Daddy paying attention to us?" I crouched down and hugged my daughter, trying to keep my voice steady. "Anna, Daddy has work to do." Suddenly, Della clutched her stomach and crouched down. "Howard, my stomach hurts." Howard rushed over to support her. "Ching-ching, what's wrong? Is it a miscarriage? Quick, I'll take you to the hospital." Watching Howard nervously pick up Della while ignoring us completely, I finally understood. In his heart, we never mattered. The pungent smell of disinfectant filled the hospital corridor. I sat on a bench holding Anna, watching the bustling activity in the emergency room. Howard remained by Della's side, never leaving her. Through the glass door, I could see him clasping her hand tightly, his eyes filled with worry and tenderness. No one ever told me that a broken heart could actually hurt. "Mom, why doesn't Daddy talk to us?" Anna squirmed in my arms. "Does he not like Anna?" I stroked my daughter's hair. "Anna's the sweetest girl. How could Daddy not like her? He's just too busy." Even as I lied, I felt the words ring hollow. At that moment, the emergency room door opened, and Howard helped Della out. Della's face was still pale, but she no longer looked as distressed as before. The doctor said it was just caused by emotional distress and nothing serious. Howard breathed a sigh of relief, then turned to us. "Erica, we need to talk." I picked up Anna and followed them to the hospital cafeteria. Della sat beside Howard, clutching his hand as if afraid he might slip away. "First, I apologize for what happened earlier," Howard said, his voice calm, too calm. "I did conceal the fact that I'm married." "So you admit you two are actually married?" Della's voice was slightly sharp. Howard nodded. 3 years ago, Erica and I got married on the spur of the moment because I had to go on a long-term assignment. But... He looked at me, his eyes filled with an emotion I couldn't decipher. There was no emotional foundation between us, it was just a marriage of convenience. I thought she'd start her life anew after I left. A marriage of convenience? I was stunned. 3 years ago, I thought it was love at first sight, a romantic love story. But in his eyes, it was just a deal? What about this child? Della pointed at Anna, her eyes filled with hostility. Is she really your daughter? The DNA test results are right here. I placed the documents on the table. Anna is Howard's biological daughter. Della glanced at the report, her expression darkening further. Howard remained silent for a long time before finally speaking up. I'll take responsibility. What do you mean? Della and I asked simultaneously. I'll provide child support for Anna and ensure her livelihood and education. Howard looked at Della. Ching-Ching and I have been in love for 3 years, and she's carrying our child. I can't abandon her. My heart sank little by little. So, that whirlwind marriage 3 years ago had truly been nothing but an accident to him. And I, foolishly, had waited for him all these 3 years. Howard, I want a divorce. My voice was surprisingly calm. A flicker of satisfaction crossed Della's eyes, but Howard frowned. Divorce? He looked at me. Are you sure? Absolutely. I stood up, picked up Anna, and said, "We never should have gotten married in the first place. Divorcing now is best for everyone." Howard fell silent for a few seconds. "Then custody of Anna." "I'm taking her." My tone brooked no argument. "I carried her for 10 months and raised her alone these past 3 years." "No way." Della suddenly stood up. "If she's his child, she belongs with his family. I won't let you take her." I sneered. "His family? What are you to his family?" "I'm Howard's girlfriend, soon to be his wife." Della's voice was shrill. "This child should be raised by us." "Della, stop it." Howard pulled her back. "Anna should stay with Erica." "Why? Can't I take care of her?" Della asked resentfully. Howard didn't answer, just gave me a deep look. I picked up Anna and turned to leave. Behind me, Della's voice rang out, "Howard, you can't let her take the child. That's your bloodline." I didn't look back, but tears already blurred my vision. The moment we stepped out of the hospital, Anna cried in my arms, "Mommy, did Daddy abandon us?" I held my daughter tightly. "Anna, Mommy will never abandon you. From now on, just the two of us, mother and daughter, will be enough." "What's Howard?" "Just an accident." But why does my heart still ache so much? Back at the hotel, I called the lawyer. "Hello, I'd like to discuss divorce proceedings. The husband is an active duty service member, and we have a 3-year-old daughter." Over the phone, the lawyer's voice was professional. "Divorce for military personnel requires approval from the political department of the unit. Prepare the relevant documents first, and we'll discuss the details tomorrow." After hanging up, I gazed at the night view outside the window, my emotions tangled. My 3-year journey as a military spouse had come to an end. But was I truly willing to accept this? Just then, my phone rang. It was Howard calling. I hesitated for a few seconds before finally answering. "Erica, let's meet up. There are some things I need to explain to you." His voice sounded weary. What else was there to explain? My voice is cold. "You have your girlfriend, I have my daughter. The divorce papers can be drafted tomorrow." "Erica, listen to me. I'm tired." I hung up immediately. Anna was already asleep, her little face still streaked with tears. I gently stroked my daughter's cheek, silently vowing to myself, from now on, I will live only for my daughter. As for Howard, let him become the past. But why is it so hard to let someone go? Early the next morning, I brought Anna to the law firm. The lawyer was a woman in her 40s who looked very capable. "Erica, based on your situation, military consent is indeed required for divorce. However..." Attorney Tom glanced at the documents. "Are you certain you want to waive your right to property division?" My voice was calm. I said, "I only want custody of our daughter." But with his active duty military allowances and various subsidies, he earns hundreds of thousands a year. "If we divide the assets, you'll get at least half." I shook my head. "I don't want his money." Attorney Tom seemed puzzled, but he began drafting the divorce settlement. Just then, the office door swung open. Howard walked in wearing his military uniform, followed by a middle-aged man also in uniform. "Sorry, are we late?" Howard looked at me, his eyes filled with a complex mix of emotions. "Mr. Howard, you're just in time." Attorney Tom stood up. "I was about to confirm some details with your wife." "She's not my wife," Howard replied calmly. "For 3 years, we haven't fulfilled marital obligations, we're only legally married." My face flushed instantly. Attorney Tom cleared his throat awkwardly. "All right then, let's begin discussing the specific terms of the divorce agreement." Just then, Anna leaped from her chair and ran to Howard. "Daddy," she exclaimed, tilting her little face up at him, her eyes brimming with anticipation. "Did you come to pick up Anna?" Howard crouched down, studying Anna intently. This was the first time he'd truly observed his daughter. She bore such a striking resemblance to him, especially those almond-shaped eyes, they were identical. "Anna, how old are you?" Howard's voice was soft. 3 years and 2 months old. Anna proudly announced, Mommy says Daddy is defending the country, and Anna misses Daddy so much. A flicker of pain crossed Howard's eyes. He reached out to touch his daughter's head, but his hand stopped midway. Anna's doing great, he finally said. Daddy, can you give Anna a hug? Anna spread her arms wide, her eyes brimming with longing. Howard hesitated for a few seconds before finally reaching out to lift his daughter into his arms. Anna beamed happily in his embrace, her little hand tracing the military insignia on his chest. Daddy, what's this? This is Dad's military insignia. Howard's voice cracked slightly. It means Dad is a soldier. And Anna will grow up to be a soldier too, to protect Dad. Howard's eyes instantly filled with tears. Watching this heartwarming scene, my heart began to ache once more. If only Howard hadn't hidden Della's existence 3 years ago, if only we had truly loved each other, what a beautiful picture this would be now. Tom cleared his throat. Let's get down to business. Howard reluctantly set Anna down and sat back in his chair. Regarding the division of assets, Erica stated she wants nothing, only custody of the child, Attorney Tom explained. Howard frowned. Nothing at all? Right. I met his gaze. I don't need your charity. This isn't charity. It's what you're entitled to. Howard's voice grew urgent. Erica, raising Anna on your own takes a lot of money. That's none of your concern, I said coldly. I have a job. I can support myself and my daughter. Howard fell silent for a few seconds, then turned to the middle-aged man. Commissioner, what do you think? The middle-aged man cleared his throat. Mr. Howard, since Erica doesn't want any assets, we'll honor her wishes. However, he turned to look at me. Child support must still be paid. I said I don't want anything, I insisted. Erica. Howard suddenly stood up. Don't be stubborn. Anna is my daughter, I have a duty to raise her. A duty? I sneered. Where were you these past 3 years? Where were you when she was hospitalized with a fever? Where were you when she learned to walk and talk? Howard was rendered speechless by my questioning. Now you know you have an obligation? Too late. My voice grew louder. Howard, you have no right to talk about child support obligations. The office fell into a deathly silence. Anna was frightened by our argument and hid behind the chair, sobbing softly. I rushed over immediately and embraced my daughter. Anna, don't be afraid. Mommy's here. Howard watched us, his eyes filled with complex emotions. I'm sorry, he finally said, just those 3 words. No need to apologize, we started off on the wrong foot to begin with. I stood up, holding my daughter. Attorney Tom, when will the agreement be ready? This afternoon, Attorney Tom replied. Then we'll come back this afternoon. I picked up Anna and started heading out. Erica, wait. Howard called after me. There's something I need to tell you. I stopped in my tracks but didn't turn around. I'm setting sail with the fleet tomorrow. This mission might take half a year before I return. Howard's voice was calm. If you're willing, could I spend more time with Anna today? I turned to look at him. His eyes held a plea, reluctance, and deep guilt. Anna lifted her head from my embrace. Mommy, is Daddy leaving again? Seeing my daughter's disappointed little face, my heart softened. All right, I finally nodded. But just for today. A flicker of gratitude crossed Howard's eyes. Thank you. The political commissar glanced at us, hesitated to speak, and ultimately said nothing. Perhaps he too felt this was a sad story, a tale of missed opportunities and misunderstandings. But the story's ending had already been sealed. Tomorrow, Howard will depart with the fleet. Anna and I, too, will begin new lives. From this day forward, our paths will never cross again. In a seaside park in Hawaii, the autumn breeze blew in gusts. I sat on a bench, watching Howard and Anna building a sandcastle together not far away. It was the first time I had seen my daughter and her father interacting like this. Anna was laughing happily as she kept sticking little flags into the sandcastle. Howard patiently taught her, occasionally making her laugh. To anyone unaware of the circumstances, they would surely think this was a happy family of 3. "Mom, look. Daddy built me a castle." Anna ran over excitedly, her little hands covered in sand. I brushed the sand off her hands. "That's amazing, Anna's the best." Howard walked over and sat down on the bench beside me. "She's bright," he said, watching Anna chase seagulls with affection in his eyes. "Just like you." I didn't respond. The sea breeze ruffled my hair, carrying a faint briny scent. "Erica, how have these past 3 years been for you?" Howard asked suddenly. I gazed out at the distant sea. "Great. I mean it." He turned to look at me. "Raising a child alone must be tough, right?" I paused for a few seconds. "It's okay. I've gotten used to it." In truth, it was more than just exhausting. During my pregnancy, I went to prenatal appointments alone and listened to the fetal heartbeat by myself. When it came time to give birth, I was alone in the delivery room, writhing in agony, with no one by my side. After Anna was born, I got up alone in the middle of the night to feed her, and I carried her to the hospital by myself when she had a fever. But I wouldn't tell Howard about these things. Because all this pain was my own choice. "Erica, I need to ask you something." Howard's voice trailed off hesitantly. 3 years ago, did we really sleep together?" My face flushed instantly. "What do you mean?" Howard's face turned red too. "I remember drinking heavily that night. Some parts are a bit fuzzy." I froze. That night 3 years ago, something did happen. After getting our marriage license, Howard said we should celebrate and bought a lot of alcohol. I had some too, and then, under the influence of alcohol, we had sex. Early the next morning, Howard left in a hurry without saying a word. I thought he was embarrassed, but now it seems he genuinely didn't remember. Whether he remembered or not didn't matter anymore. I avoided his gaze. I said, "We're getting divorced anyway." Howard fell silent. Just then, Anna came running over. "Daddy, Mommy, shall we play hide-and-seek together?" "Sure," Howard agreed with a smile. "Daddy will come find you." Anna tugged at my hand. "Mommy, let's hide quickly." Seeing my daughter's excited expression, I couldn't bring myself to refuse. We hid behind a large tree, Anna covering her mouth, afraid to make a sound. Howard pretended to look around as if he couldn't find her. "Huh? Where did Anna and Mom go?" Anna couldn't hold it in any longer and giggled. "Found it." Howard rushed over, scooped Anna up, and spun her around. Anna giggled uncontrollably. "Daddy, one more time." Watching this heartwarming scene, my heart melted once more. Perhaps Howard really is a good father. Just not a good husband. After the game, we all went to a nearby restaurant for dinner. Anna sat between Howard and me, serving Dad food and pouring water for Mom, acting like a little adult. "Dad, why do you have to leave again tomorrow?" Anna suddenly asked. Howard set down his chopsticks and looked intently at his daughter. "Because Daddy is a soldier, and I have to protect our country." "Then when will you come back?" "Soon. Daddy will definitely come back soon." "Then when you come back, can you stay?" Anna's eyes brimmed with hope. Anna wants to be with Daddy and Mommy every single day. A flicker of pain crossed Howard's eyes. He glanced at me, then said to his daughter, "Anna, Mom and Dad might not be together anymore." "Why?" Anna didn't understand. "Other people's parents are always together." My eyes instantly welled up. Howard didn't know how to explain it either. Finally, I spoke up. "Anna, some things you'll understand when you're older. But no matter what, Mom and Dad love you." Anna nodded, seeming to understand yet not quite, but her eyes clearly held a sense of loss. After dinner, we drove Howard back to his base. At the gate, Anna clung tightly to Howard's legs, refusing to let go. "Daddy, I don't want you to go," she said, crying. Howard crouched down, gently stroking his daughter's hair. Anna, listen to mommy and grow up well. When daddy comes back, he'll bring you a present, okay? I don't want a present, I just want daddy. Anna cried even harder. My own tears couldn't help but fall. Howard looked at us, mother and daughter, his eyes filled with reluctance and guilt. Erica, He tried to say something, but in the end, he didn't. Let's go. I picked up Anna. Don't let your daughter see you like this. Howard gave us one last deep look before turning and walking through the military base gates. Anna sobbed heartbreakingly in my arms, Mommy, I want daddy. I held my daughter tightly as tears streamed down my face. From now on, we truly would have only each other to rely on. The next afternoon, the law office was so quiet you could hear the pen scratching against the paper. The divorce agreement had been drafted, and Howard read it carefully before picking up the pen to sign. Wait, I suddenly called out. Howard looked up at me. What is it? I took a deep breath. I want to add a clause. What clause? If you ever marry and have children, you must never tell them about Anna's existence. My voice was calm. I don't want Anna to be treated like an illegitimate child. Howard's face darkened instantly. Erica, Anna isn't illegitimate. She's my legitimate daughter. But to others, she is. I met his gaze. After all, you're about to marry Della, aren't you? Howard fell silent. I cannot agree to this clause. He finally spoke up, Anna is my blood. I cannot deny her existence. Then don't divorce me. I stood up. Since you cannot agree, we'll continue as husband and wife. Howard froze. What do you mean? Exactly what I said, I replied calmly. Didn't you claim Anna is your blood? Then let her become your family's daughter in name and deed. But Della. What about Della? Who is she to you? I sneered, Howard, don't forget, I'm your lawful wife. Attorney Tom looked utterly bewildered but didn't interrupt. Howard's expression shifted repeatedly before he finally said, Erica, this isn't good for anyone. Who isn't it good for? Della? I stepped in front of him. Howard, do you think I don't know? You and Della were together 3 years ago, weren't you? Howard's pupils suddenly contracted. How long have you two been seeing each other? When did it start? I pressed him relentlessly. Was it before or after we got married? Erica, let me explain. Explain what? Explain how you've been playing both sides? My voice grew louder. Howard, do you have any idea what these past 3 years have been like for me? I know you've been working hard, but... What do you know? I cut him off. Do you know I went to prenatal appointments alone? Do you know I cried alone in the delivery room? Do you know how desperately I wished someone was there when I got up in the middle of the night to feed the baby? With every word, Howard's face grew paler. Erica, I really had no idea you were pregnant. You didn't know? I sneered, I wrote you so many letters, didn't you receive a single one? Howard froze, what letters? The letters I wrote to you when I was pregnant, the letters I wrote when Anna was born, the letters I wrote when she learned to walk. My tears fell. For 3 whole years, I wrote dozens of letters, and you're telling me you never received them? Howard's face turned extremely grim. I truly didn't receive them. Why didn't I get it? Because you weren't even in the Northwest, right? I wiped away my tears. For 3 years, you've been with Della and never once thought about us, your mother and daughter. The office fell into a deathly silence. Howard hung his head, his hands clenched into fists. I'm sorry, he murmured. I admit it, 3 years ago, I did deceive you. Hearing him admit it himself, my heart died completely. So, when did you and Della start seeing each other? My voice was calm, eerily calm. Howard looked up at me, his eyes filled with guilt. We were together before we graduated from college. Then why did you marry me? Because. Howard hesitated for a few seconds. Because I thought she wouldn't wait for me. I almost laughed out loud. So I was just his backup plan. When he thought Della wouldn't wait for him, he married some random woman. And I was that unlucky woman. Now I understand. I sat back down, picked up the pen, and signed the divorce agreement. Howard, I wish you happiness. Howard watched me sign, a complex emotion flickering in his eyes. Erica, about Anna's child support. I told him I wanted nothing. I pushed the agreement toward him. Sign it. Howard hesitated for a few seconds before finally putting pen to paper. From that day on, we were done with each other. Stepping out of the law office, I felt lighter than I ever had. 3 years of marriage were finally over. Though my heart still aches, at least I'm free now. Anna is still napping in the hotel, unaware that Mom and Dad have divorced. How should I tell her? Or should I say nothing, letting her gradually forget Howard? My phone suddenly rang, an unknown number. Hello, is this Erica? Yes, who's this? It's Della. The voice on the other end sounded smug. I'd like to talk to you. I frowned. What do we have to talk about? About the children. Della's tone turned serious. Erica, now that you're divorced, I hope you'll be sensible and stop clinging to Howard. Clinging? I sneered. Della, have you got something wrong? I'm not mistaken. Howard said you refused child support and denied him visitation rights. Della's voice carried disbelief. What are you trying to do? I froze. When had Howard ever said such things? Della, I think you've misunderstood, I said, trying to stay calm. I never refused him visitation. Did I? Then why did you take the kids away from Hawaii? Because I wanted to go home, I replied. My home isn't in Hawaii. Where is your home? What's it to you? I'm getting impatient, Della. Get one thing straight, Howard and I are divorced. There's nothing between us. And you have no right to interfere in my life. But she's Howard's daughter. Della's voice rose. I won't let you take her away. Won't let me? I nearly laughed in anger. Della, who do you think you are? With that, I hung up the phone. This Della is just baffling. She and Howard aren't even married yet, and she's already bossing everyone around. Does she really think she's the lady of the house? That evening, I was reading Anna a bedtime story when there was a knock at the hotel room door. Peering through the peephole, I was surprised to see Howard. Why was he here? Wasn't he supposed to be heading out to sea today? After a few seconds of hesitation, I opened the door. What brings you here? I asked. Howard's face was grim. We need to talk. What's there to talk about? We're already divorced. I blocked the doorway, refusing to let him in. I want to renegotiate custody of Anna. Howard's voice was stern. My heart skipped a beat. What do you mean? I can't let you take Anna away. Howard looked me straight in the eye. She's Howard's bloodline. She should stay with his family. I was so furious I almost laughed. Howard, did you forget that the divorce agreement we just signed clearly states that I have custody of Anna? I can file for custody modification, Howard declared flatly. I'm active duty military with better financial standing than you. The court will rule in my favor. My hands began to tremble. Are you out of your mind? I've raised Anna from infancy, what right do you have to take her away? As her biological father. Howard's voice was cold. Erica, I don't want to make this ugly. Hand over custody voluntarily, and I'll give you a sum of money, enough to live comfortably for the rest of your life. I froze. Was this really the Howard I knew? How had he suddenly become so cold and ruthless? Mommy, is that Daddy? Anna ran out of the room and excitedly threw herself into Howard's arms. Daddy, why are you here? Howard crouched down to embrace his daughter. The coldness in his eyes vanished instantly, replaced by deep affection. Anna, Daddy's here to see you. He gently stroked his daughter's hair. Did you miss Daddy? Yes. Anna snuggled into his arms. Daddy, can you please not leave? Howard glanced at me, then turned to his daughter. Anna, if Daddy doesn't leave, would you like to live with him? Anna blinked her big eyes. What about Mommy? Mommy. Mommy has her own things to do, Howard said. My heart sank instantly. He really intended to take Anna away. I wouldn't stand for it. I rushed over and pulled my daughter from his arms. Howard, you're not taking my daughter anywhere. Your daughter? Howard stood up, a flash of mockery in his eyes. Erica, she's my daughter too. But where have you been these past 3 years? I held Anna close. I was the one who stayed up all night when she had a fever. I was the one who taught her to speak over and over. I was the one who comforted her when she fell. What did you do? Howard was rendered speechless by my question. Anna sensed the tense atmosphere and whispered, Mom, Dad, why are you arguing? I'm trying to calm down, Anna. We're not arguing. Mom and Dad are just discussing something. Is the discussion over? Anna asked innocently. Howard, let's step outside. I'll put Anna to bed. Anna, watch cartoons for a bit, Mom and Dad need to talk. Howard and I walked into the hotel hallway. Why did you do this? I whispered. Didn't you say we were going sailing? The mission has been postponed. Howard's tone was calm. Erica, I'm serious. I can't let Anna leave. Why? I didn't understand. You already have Della, why do you need Anna? Howard fell silent for a few seconds. Della was right. Anna is my blood. She can't be left out in the cold. I understood instantly. So it was Della's idea. So you're trying to take Anna away for Della's sake? I sneered. Howard, you really have no bottom line. I'm doing this for Anna's sake, Howard said. With me, she'll get a better education and better living conditions. Better living conditions? My voice rose. You mean I can't give her a good life? That's not what I meant. That's exactly what you mean. I cut him off. Howard, do you have any idea what I've been through these past 3 years? To give Anna a better life, I worked 3 jobs a day just to make a little extra money. Howard's expression changed. Erica. We scrimped and saved, giving her the very best. Whatever toy she wanted, I'd buy, whatever she craved, I'd cook. Tears fell from my eyes. What she truly lacked was a father's love, not material things. I know you've been through a lot, but what? I wiped away my tears. But do you think I'm not worthy of your family's bloodline? Howard fell silent. I looked at him, my heart completely shattered. Howard, let me make this clear, unless I'm dead, you're not taking Anna away from me. My voice was calm, yet resolute. She's the child I carried for 10 months and raised through countless hardships. No one can take her from me. Erica, you shouldn't be so stubborn. Me stubborn? I sneered. What about you? For the sake of a woman, you've abandoned your own conscience? Howard's face turned extremely grim. Erica, I'll say this one last time, hand over custody voluntarily, and I'll give you 10 million. His voice was cold. If you refuse, I'll take legal action. 10 million? I laughed in disbelief. Howard, what do you take me for? My daughter is priceless, no amount of money could ever buy her. So what do you want? I'm taking her away from here, to a place you'll never find. I stared straight into his eyes. You'll never see her again. Howard's pupils suddenly contracted. You dare. Watch me if you dare. I turned to head back to my room. Howard grabbed my arm. Erica, you can't do this. Why not? I shook off his hand. Howard, you hurt me once. I won't let you hurt my daughter. She's my daughter too. Howard's voice trembled with fury. Where have you been these past 3 years? I retorted. And now you suddenly realize she's your daughter? Too late. Without another word, I stormed into the room and slammed the door shut. In the room, Anna was already asleep, a small smile still on her face, dreaming of something joyful. I sat by the bedside watching my daughter, my heart filled with mixed emotions. Howard wanted to take Anna away, something I absolutely could not accept. But given his status as an active duty service member, if he actually files for a change in custody, I might not necessarily win. No, I have to figure something out. I pulled out my phone and started looking up the relevant legal provisions. Under the law, if one parent is capable of supporting the child while the other cannot provide better living conditions, the court will typically award custody to the more capable parent. As an active duty military member, Howard not only has a stable income but also enjoys various welfare benefits. In comparison, I'm just an ordinary office worker. If it really came to a lawsuit, my chances of winning would be slim. Just then, there was another knock at the door. I peered through the peephole and was surprised to see Della. What on earth was she doing here? I hesitated for a few seconds before opening the door. Erica, we need to talk. Della stood outside the doorway, wearing a triumphant smile. We have nothing to talk about. I blocked the entrance. We do, Della pushed past me into the room. About child custody. You're an outsider, what right do you have to talk about custody? I shut the door, not wanting to wake Anna. An outsider? Della sneered. Soon I'll be Howard's wife, that child's stepmother. Della, get one thing straight. I stepped in front of her. Anna is my daughter, not yours. Even if you marry Howard, you have no right to decide where she goes. Is that so? Della touched her belly. But the child inside me will be the heir to the Howard name. Your daughter, though, she'll never be more than a bastard. My hand clenched into a fist. What did you say? I said your daughter is illegitimate, Della said calmly. Though you were married, Howard said your marriage was a mistake from the start. The one he always loved was me. I struggled to control my emotions, so what? Anna is still Howard's legitimate daughter. Legitimate, my foot, Della sneered. Can she inherit his family's fortune? Can she earn his family's acceptance? Howard's parents had no idea he'd ever been married, let alone that they had a granddaughter, Della said triumphantly. And I'm about to become the family's daughter-in-law. The child in my womb is the true grandson of the family. I froze. So Howard hadn't even told his parents. To him, our marriage really was just an accident. Erica, I advise you to be sensible. Della stepped in front of me. Hand over custody voluntarily, take the money, and get out of here. It's best for everyone. What if I refuse? Disagree? Della sneered. Then get ready for a court battle. With Howard's circumstances, he'll definitely win custody. You'll end up with nothing and have to bear the consequences of losing the case. I took a deep breath. Della, you're overestimating yourself. Anna is my child, born of me and raised by me. No one can take her away from me. Is that clear? A flicker of cunning passed through Della's eyes. Well then, what if Howard's parents found out they had a granddaughter? My heart skipped a beat. What are you planning to do? I can inform them and have them come for her, Della said triumphantly. Her family is military stock, they place great importance on bloodline continuity. Knowing a granddaughter is out there, they won't just stand by and do nothing. My face went pale. If Howard's parents got involved, things would get even more complicated. Why would you do this? I couldn't understand. Anna's just a child. She didn't do anything wrong. I'm not targeting the children. Della's tone softened slightly. I just want a complete family. Your presence affects Howard and my happiness. I divorced him long ago, how could it affect you? The child is the bond. Della said, as long as this child exists, Howard can never be wholly mine. That's why we must raise her ourselves. I finally understood Della's true intentions. She didn't genuinely want Anna, she simply didn't want Anna to become an obstacle between her and Howard. Della, I can assure you I won't bother Howard anymore, I said. I only want my daughter, nothing else matters. But what happens when the child grows up? Della shook her head. She'll still be a part of our lives then. Her logic made me laugh in exasperation. So you want to take her away and make her your child? Not our child, she already is. Della corrected, she's Howard's daughter. Of course she should grow up with Howard. What about me? What about her own mother? You can visit her, Della said generously, once a month. That's already very generous. I nearly fainted from anger. How can this woman be so shameless? Della, I'll say this one last time. I fought to keep my emotions in check. Anna is my daughter, and I won't hand her over to anyone. If you want a child, isn't there one growing in your belly? Della's expression darkened instantly. Erica, don't push your luck. None of your business. I walked to the door. Please leave, or I'll call security. Della glanced at Anna sleeping soundly on the bed, a flash of malice in her eyes. Erica, you'll regret this. With that, she turned and left. I closed the door, leaned against it, and let out a long sigh. This Della is absolutely terrifying. She'd do anything to get Howard. I have to get Anna out of here as soon as possible. Early the next morning, I began packing my bags. My original plan to stay in Hawaii a few more days was now impossible. I had to leave immediately, to a place where Howard and Della couldn't find me. Mom, are we going home? Anna sat on the bed, watching me pack. Yes, we're moving to a new place. I said as I sorted through clothes. What about Dad? Does he know we're moving? My hand paused. Dad. Dad has his own things to take care of. Anna nodded, looking like she sort of understood. Just then, my phone rang. It was Howard. I hesitated for a few seconds before answering. Erica, where are you? Howard's voice sounded urgent. At the hotel, I said. I want to see Anna. Why? Didn't you say you were going to take her away? My tone was cold. Erica, I've been thinking about yesterday. Maybe we can rethink the custody arrangement. Howard's voice softened. I froze. What do you mean? I mean, maybe it would be better for Anna to stay with you. I couldn't quite believe it. You've changed your mind? You could say that, Howard said. But I have one condition. My heart skipped a beat. What condition? I'd like regular visits with Anna. Maybe once a month, or on holidays. The condition sounded reasonable, but something felt off. Why the sudden change of heart? I asked. Howard fell silent for a few seconds, because I remembered something. About that night 3 years ago. My face flushed instantly. What did you remember? I remembered what you said. Howard's voice was soft. You said you loved me and would wait for me to come back. My heart was pounding. 3 years ago, on that night, I had indeed said those words. We'd both been drinking, and under the influence of alcohol, I'd spoken my mind. So what? I forced my voice to stay calm. I think I said some things back then too, Howard said. I said I'd come back for you, that we'd have a happy family. My eyes instantly welled up. Yes, he really did say those things. Back then, I thought he meant it, which is why I foolishly waited for him for 3 years. Howard, those words don't count. My voice caught slightly. You were drunk at the time. Maybe I wasn't drunk, Howard said. Erica, can we start over? I froze. Start over? Are you kidding me? I couldn't believe my ears. Aren't you supposed to marry Della? I can break things off with her. Howard's voice was firm. Erica, I want to try being a real husband and father. Tears fell from my eyes. This is what I've been dreaming to hear. But now that I've heard it, why doesn't it feel as joyful as I imagined? Howard, are you sure you're not just pitying me? I asked. Not pity, but guilt, Howard said. These past 3 years, I've owed you all too much. I want to make amends. Make up for it? I gave a bitter laugh. Some things, once missed, are gone forever. There's no making up for them. Erica. Never mind, Howard. I cut him off. We're divorced now. Let's not go down this road. As for seeing Anna, I can agree to that. But there's one condition: you have to break up with Della. Why? Because I don't want Anna to grow up in a complicated environment. My voice was calm. If you truly want to be a good father, don't let her see you with other women. Howard was silent for a long time. Erica, Della is carrying my child too. That's your choice. I sneered. Howard, you can't have it all. Choose either Della and your children, or choose Anna. You can't straddle two horses. Think it through and give me your answer. I hung up without another word. Anna jumped out of bed and came over to me. Mommy, was that Daddy calling? I crouched down and hugged my daughter. Anna, would you be sad if only Mommy was here with you from now on? Anna tilted her head and thought for a moment. No way. Mommy's the best. Hearing my daughter's words, I felt incredibly conflicted. Perhaps Howard really wasn't necessary for us. Hadn't we managed just fine these past 3 years? Packing our bags, I left the hotel with Anna. On my way to the airport, I called the company to request time off. Neil, I have an urgent matter and need to take a few days off. Erica, what's going on? Do you need help? Neil's voice sounded concerned. Nothing major, just some family issues. I didn't want to elaborate. All right, come back once you're done. Don't worry about the company here. Thanks, Neil. After hanging up, I watched the scenery rushing past the window, my mood complicated. Maybe I should take Anna somewhere where no one knows us and start over. Just then, my phone rang again. This time it was Della calling. I hesitated, but answered anyway. Erica, don't get too cocky, Della said angrily. Howard might be momentarily confused, but he won't abandon me. Della, that's your business. It has nothing to do with me, I said. How is it none of my business? It's all because of your daughter. Della's voice grew shrill. If it weren't for her, how could Howard have softened his heart? Della, I advise you to think about how to win Howard back. I sneered coldly. After all, he wants to break up with you now. Impossible. Della nearly roared. We're getting married soon, and I'm carrying his child. Then go talk to him yourself, I said calmly. Don't bother me. Erica, I'm telling you, I won't let you ruin my happiness. Della threatened. You'd better know your place. Threaten me? I laughed in disbelief. Della, who do you think you are? I hung up immediately and blocked her number. This woman is completely out of her mind. Upon arriving at the airport, I suddenly changed my mind. Instead of buying a ticket home, I purchased one to the Maldives. I have a college friend there who could temporarily put me up. Most importantly, it's far away from Howard. Mom, where are we going? Anna asked curiously. To a very beautiful place, I said with a smile. There's the ocean, coconut trees, and lots of fun things to do. Really? Anna clapped her hands excitedly. I want to see the ocean. Seeing my daughter so happy lifted my spirits a little. Away from Howard and Della, my daughter and I can live a quieter life. Before boarding the plane, I sent Howard a text. I've taken Anna away from Hawaii. If you've made up your mind, you can contact me. But my conditions won't change. You must choose either Della or Anna. You can't have it both ways. After sending the text, I turned off my phone. From now on, I'll live for myself and my daughter. As for what Howard chooses to do, that's his business. I won't wait for him anymore. This time, I'm taking control of my own destiny. The Maldivian sun felt especially warm, with a gentle breeze rustling the palm trees and waves lapping against the sandy shore. Anna and I had settled into a beachfront hotel for the time being. Mom, the ocean is so beautiful. Anna ran back and forth along the beach, as happy as a little angel. Seeing my daughter's radiant smile, the gloom in my heart lifted considerably. Perhaps we really don't need Howard. Haven't we been doing just fine these past 3 years, just the two of us? I pulled out my phone, turned it on, and checked my messages. Howard had sent over a dozen texts and left countless missed calls. I scanned the most recent ones. Erica, where are you? I'm really worried. Erica, I've thought it through. Can we talk? Erica, please reply, even just one word. Reading these messages, I felt a mix of emotions. What had he come to realize? After much hesitation, I finally called him back. Erica. Howard's voice carried obvious surprise. You finally answered. Where are you? Somewhere safe? My tone remained calm. What did you come to realize? Howard paused for a few seconds. I've thought through our relationship. I think we should start over. His voice trembled slightly. Erica, I broke up with Della. I froze. You broke up with her? Yes, last night. Howard said, I told her I couldn't abandon Anna, nor could I abandon you. If she couldn't accept that, we'd have to part ways. My heart was pounding. What about the baby in her belly? I'll pay child support, but I won't marry her. Howard's voice was firm. Erica, I want to be a real father and a real husband. My eyes instantly welled up. These were the words I'd waited 3 years to hear. But hearing it now, I'm not as happy as I imagined I'd be. Howard, are you sure this isn't just a spur-of-the-moment decision? I asked. It's not impulsive, Howard replied. It's the result of careful consideration. These past few days, I've thought a lot. I remembered that night 3 years ago, I remembered what you said, and I remembered the promise I made. Those words were true. Howard interrupted me. Erica, maybe I was a little drunk back then, but every word I said came from the heart. I truly wanted a home, a wife who loved me, and adorable children. My tears kept streaming down my face. Then why haven't you contacted me at all these past 3 years? Because I thought you'd leave. Howard's voice carried a note of guilt. I thought once you found out about Della, you'd choose to divorce and start over. I never imagined you'd wait for me all this time. So you ended up with Della? Howard paused for a few seconds. I thought I loved her. We've been together since college and have a deep emotional foundation. But these past few days, I've realized maybe I was just used to her being there. And me? What about me? You were my accident, my surprise. Erica, Howard's voice was soft, I think I've truly fallen for you. Though we only had one night, that night showed me what real love is. My heart was pounding even harder. These were the words I'd longed to hear in my dreams. But, Howard, I need time to think. I finally said. I understand, Howard replied. But Erica, please tell me where you are. I want to meet Anna. I looked at my daughter playing on the beach. We're in the Maldives. The Maldives? Howard sounded surprised. Why did you come all this way? Because I wanted a quiet place to reflect on life, I replied. So, can I come over? Howard asked cautiously. I hesitated for a few seconds. Sure, but we're just friends. I get it. Howard's voice held surprise. I'll book a flight right away. After hanging up, I stared blankly at my phone screen. Did Howard really break up with Della? Does he genuinely want to start over with me? Or is this just a momentary pang of guilt? Mom, what are you thinking? Anna ran over, her little hands covered in sand. I crouched down to brush the sand off her hands. Mommy's thinking about grown-up things. Is it about Daddy? Anna blinked her big eyes. I froze. How did you know? Because Mom only cries when she thinks of Dad. Anna reached out her little hand to wipe my tears. Mommy, is Daddy coming to find us? I nodded. Daddy said he wants to see Anna. Really? Anna jumped up excitedly. I'm going to tell Little Crab that my daddy is coming. Seeing my daughter so happy only made my feelings more complicated. Perhaps I should give Howard a chance. After all, Anna needs a father's love. But can I truly forgive him? Can 3 years of pain and loneliness really be erased? I don't know. But at least, I'm willing to try. For Anna, and for myself. The next afternoon, Howard appeared in the hotel lobby. He was dressed casually, carrying a large bag, and looked travel-worn. "Daddy." Anna rushed over the moment she saw him and threw herself into his arms. Howard held his daughter tightly, his eyes brimming with emotion and reluctance. "Anna, I missed you," he said, his voice slightly choked. Anna nestled against him. "Daddy, look. The ocean here is so beautiful." Howard looked up at me, his eyes filled with an emotion I couldn't quite read. "Erica." He called my name softly. "You're here." I walked over. "Are you tired?" "Not at all." Howard shook his head. "Seeing you both makes it all worth it." We made our way to the hotel cafe and settled into a quiet corner. Anna perched on Howard's lap, excitedly sharing her adventures from the past few days. "Daddy, I saw dolphins. And lots of pretty shells." "Really?" Howard said with a smile. "Did Anna pick some to take home?" "Yes. Mom said we could keep them as souvenirs." Watching their heartwarming father-daughter moment, my heart melted once more. Perhaps Howard truly wanted to be a good father. "Erica, I have something to tell you." Howard suddenly looked at me. "What is it?" "About our future." Howard's eyes were serious. "I want us to start over, to truly be a couple." My heart was pounding. "Are you sure?" "Right." Howard nodded. "I've already applied to the unit. If possible, I'd like to transfer to a location closer to you. That way, I can be with you more often." I froze. "You want to transfer jobs?" "Yes," Howard said. "I don't want to miss Anna growing up anymore, and I don't want you to bear this alone." Hearing these words, my eyes instantly welled up. This was the promise I'd waited 3 years for. On a Maldivian night, the sea breeze was gentle and the starry sky dazzling. The three of us sat in a seaside gazebo, Anna already asleep in Howard's arms. She was asleep. Howard stroked his daughter's hair, his eyes filled with tenderness. She played herself out today." I looked at my sleeping daughter, my feelings tangled. "Erica, are you still mad at me?" Howard asked suddenly. I paused for a few seconds. "I don't know." "I know I hurt you." Howard's voice was soft. "These past 3 years, I've made so many mistakes. Not just these 3 years." I gazed out at the distant sea. "From the day we got married, we were a mistake." "No, it wasn't a mistake." Howard shook his head. "Maybe it started as an accident, but the outcome wasn't. Erica, if I hadn't married you, I wouldn't have Anna, and I wouldn't understand what real responsibility is." "Responsibility?" I gave a bitter smile. "Howard, I don't want responsibility, I want love." "Then I love you," Howard said suddenly. I froze. "What did you say?" "I said I love you," Howard replied, looking at me earnestly. "Maybe I wasn't sure at first, but now I am certain. I love you, Erica." Tears fell from my eyes. I've waited 3 whole years to hear those words. "Why did you wait until now?" I choked out. "Because I'm a fool." Tears welled in Howard's eyes too. "I thought I loved Della. I thought our marriage was just an accident. But these past few days, I've come to realize that true love isn't about fiery passion, but about quiet companionship and steadfast protection." "Are you sure it's not guilt?" I asked. "It's not guilt, it's love," Howard said, wiping away my tears. "Erica, maybe I haven't expressed my love well, but my heart is genuine." I looked into his eyes, trying to find any trace of deception. But all I saw was sincerity and deep affection. "What about Della? What about the baby she's carrying?" I asked. I'll take responsibility for the child, but Della. Howard shook his head. It's completely over between us. She understands too, we're just not right for each other. Did she really agree to the breakup? She faked her pregnancy to deceive me. She started wanting custody of Anna just to use our daughter to keep me tied to her. Howard said. I fell silent. It was unexpected. Howard, I need time, I finally said. 3 years of pain can't be erased with a single sentence. I understand, Howard nodded. I can wait. No matter how long it takes, I'm willing to wait. What if I ultimately choose not to forgive you? Then I respect your choice. Howard's voice was firm. But I hope you'll give me a chance to prove my love. I looked at him, and the iceberg in my heart began to melt little by little. Maybe I should give him a chance. And give myself a chance too. All right. I finally nodded. I'll give you a chance. But I have conditions. What conditions? Hope flashed in Howard's eyes. First, you must formally propose to me. I want a proper wedding, not some rushed shotgun marriage. No problem. Howard agreed immediately. Second, you must transfer to a position near us and stop taking long-term business trips. I've already applied. Third, we need to start over, nothing that happened before counts. We'll get to know each other anew, fall in love again, and rebuild our connection. Howard paused for a few seconds. You mean we have to win you back? Right. I nodded. You have to prove your love for me with real actions, not just words. Anna stirred in his arms and opened her sleepy eyes. Mommy and Daddy, what are you talking about? She asked, rubbing her eyes. We were saying that Daddy is going to woo Mommy all over again, Howard said with a smile. What is pursuing? Anna asked curiously. It's when Dad wants to prove he loves Mom and Anna, I explained. Then will Dad send flowers? That's what they always do on TV. Anna exclaimed excitedly. Howard glanced at me. If Mom likes it. I love gardenias. I said, white ones, very fragrant. I remember. Howard nodded earnestly. Watching their father-daughter interaction, my heart completely melted. Perhaps we really can start over. Perhaps this time Howard won't let me down again. In the days that followed, Howard brought me gardenias every day, accompanied us on outings daily, and shared his thoughts and plans with me each day. He was truly putting his heart into courting me, like a young boy experiencing his first love. Anna was overjoyed too, pestering Dad every day for stories and games. Watching their bond grow stronger, I knew my heart had completely softened. Perhaps we really do have a future. A month later, Howard's transfer request was approved. He was reassigned to the military district in our city, meaning he could come home more often. That evening, he formally proposed to me. He knelt by the sea, holding a diamond ring, and said earnestly, Erica, will you marry me? This time, I'll give you a real wedding, a real home. Anna clapped excitedly beside us. Mom, say yes to Dad. Looking into Howard's sincere eyes, I felt deeply moved. Okay. I held out my hand. I will. Howard slipped the ring onto my finger, then pulled me into a tight embrace. Thank you for giving me this chance. He whispered softly in my ear, I will love you both for the rest of my life. I closed my eyes, feeling his embrace. After 3 years of waiting, we finally have results. Though the process was painful, the outcome is beautiful. We are finally going to have a real home.